Best way to do it, so if you got a real hard band, put chains on it.
Looks like
ratchet
sand.
diamonds.
Now I know why the second.
You put sand.
Because that's probably says.
Bend it, weld it, ease it again, and do it that way. Or an attempt to take the band color and put pressure on it, so.
I don't know how much about it either.
Because he has a real rugged steel, long range.
Just skip that one.
Oh, I said, okay.
That's what you're saying, Sarah.
Was there any bend to it at all?
Just delete them.
They're a little bit.
How are your doggies doing?
What's the button?
How are your doggies doing?
They're
They're doing better, we're actually taking them to training on Friday.
Take the sled.
Tim decided
I
that
just don't know what it.
she'd had enough of them lunging at all of her visitors.
She doesn't have a slip.
So,
You didn't wanna-
Go out to
good.
notes. Oh,
Maybe he will next week, I don't know. Sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he doesn't. What he's doing is, working out pretty good. He's gotta get some heavier rod, he's using 70-18, but it's only like 8 inch, so I need some bigger rod. He put 2 passes all around it. He wants to go over it again, like a 3rd pass, you know. I told him, I said, geez, we gotta put me
Oh, it's
a
for
pass,
sand and
lost it, you know.
yeah.
the winner, so you just want the delivery slip?
Well, I don't know why she put that little note there.
You know,
Oh, she says, I don't think you have them attached
and I'm
slips.
just, you know, I'll go rid of it.
These are the attached slips.
Don't shoot me.
Oh.
Okay.
I got right into it, right into Saturday. Geez, I got a stone wall built quite a ways down on the state park line.
Yeah, I think that's all set.
By your bets, I go this round, I ended up my hands on that. My tracks were starting to show water on them. Four-wheel drive, 'cause you want to-
Water table's right there.
Yeah.
What are the answers for the end?
One of them was going back in last Friday, we missed a week.
Uh-huh. Oh, we did?
Yeah,
They'll dry out.
I don't think that's necessarily bad to skip a week.
No, maybe not. Some will think it's something new.
Doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, it happens, so. I still haven't heard anything.
I can't believe how dry it is up back. Jeez, I dig down for a while, so I can get it out like powder.
There's 2 bills here, but there's only 1 check, so one's for 111, one's for 25.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm like sandy material in there now. I'm sure there's some gravel down there.
Doesn't always look like I'll pull that second one out.
Does it look like there should have been 2?
Or double the amount, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I need to start going through them and writing
Karen, how are you?
what you need done. I think Jesse used to do that.
Well, that's just, do you have the file there?
Yeah.
This is a file. The bills?
The bills, right.
Yeah, that's just information, there's nothing to sign.
There were a couple,
No W-2s and,
but there were.
I mean,
checks in there.
W-4s.
There were checks in there.
Oh, I think I stuck them in there.
Oh, you probably were.
Can you just say one and then the treasurer signs?
Yeah, and payroll ones.
The payroll, the treasurer only signs, is that right?
1 person and the treasurer.
No, one in the treasurer.
Most of these direct deposit, but there's a couple.
Yeah, I think there's one in there. Yeah,
Oh, here we go.
You can just say one's represented.
And, yeah.
So anybody else has to sign it?
No.
6:30, I call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order.
Tina, are there other documents we need to sign besides the checks?
Only once we approve the minutes.
Okay. And I still need to read the minutes. So we have the minutes.
I think they're in your packet.
Yeah.
They're in your packet too.
Hmm?
They're in your packet.
Yep. And then did you have one
I
just
have
for us to sign?
original for you.
Okay, so for Monday, July 15th?
And that was the one you had a note about the motion.
Okay.
Yeah, it says I didn't take them, I thought you went to corrections.
I can mail it to them. Okay, I'll send it to you. I can mail it. Mhm.
Make motion for these minutes, have a statement that we made a motion to accept the procedures for this, the, public hearing, which was seconded and approved.
I will second it.
I don't remember who made the motion, it was seconded, but I haven't made a motion and approved it, voted
Motion was to,
we outlined the procedures for the public hearing. And we made a motion,
to accept the outline procedures.
yes, as discussed.
That was for the public hearing, right?
Yes.
I'll just put all agreed.
Yes.
So if you want to sign these as amended.
We have the minutes from the,
In the executive session? No,
is your originals?
no, that's the big one. Because there was one. I didn't take these, so I didn't read them. So I will get that for next meeting.
Okay.
I already have a note.
Here's the email, if that would be a trigger. Can we do that with that? Are these what you're looking for, the executive session?
Is that the 15th or 29th?
August 5th.
No, there should be, August 5th was the special meeting we did last Monday. So there's,
another set missing?
yeah, for the 15th. I should have read the minutes and I did not, since that was the day hard.
So we have the minutes for the July 23rd public hearing.
whether they need to be approved or kept, or whether they're handled like Jesse's, which would be approved at the March meeting. I'm not sure the process.
Oh, you mean the big one, the big meeting?
This is a hearing.
I don't know.
Right, which would be different than the special town meeting.
Right.
And I
It
don't know
won't
why.
hurt to approve it, and then we have it if there's any questions, I guess.
I don't have a motion to approve these minutes.
I second it.
Do you have any changes in discussion?
No, I'm pretty sure I read them all. I read them all.
It's a summary of comments. Not a verbatim. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, to sign this copy?
Is that a non-draft copy?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
fine.
That's the original, too.
What's the
Original.
of the 29?
Yeah, okay. I'm just reading them right now.
When you get to it.
Which one that?
The 29th. And I think there's an error in the name here. I'm not sure.
I've read it up 3 times, and I thought I had finally given you a copy that didn't have the name.
Do you want me to take?
Yeah, just look.
No, it is. I've got a draft here. I've got another draft, so that's fine. It's correct. I make a motion to approve the minutes in the July 29th meeting.
Second it.
Do you have any discussion, any changes or amendments?
No, it's basically just talking about the next day. Yeah, special meeting.
All in favor?
And then there was a non-public 29th also.
Do you have those?
You should too, but
I make a motion to accept the executive session minutes from July 29th.
Original, that's the one, please. When we're in the gym.
I know, the times. Seven, eight.
7, 8, doesn't it?
Is it 18, is it supposed to be 7:18 or?
The time?
Must have been 8:08.
48.
Couldn't be
Oh,
7:18.
7:48?
Yeah, I corrected that in one of my copies too, but
Okay.
still learning how to save on the computer.
All right. Can I make a motion to accept this?
I second it.
Okay.
There's amended with the time correction.
Yeah, she did.
Yes, you corrected it, yeah.
Do we have any corrections, any other corrections?
No.
Changes? All in favor of accepting these?
Aye.
It's right here too, it's not that one. I guess it's that.
It's original. We have minutes from the executive session on August 5th. Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Oh, I second it.
Carol, will you please for a minute? All in favor?
Aye. It's original.
Okay. For new business, I know we had Historical Society Monument. Do we have Terry here?
Yep. I'm Terry Parks from the Dalton Historical Society. And we were interested in maybe erecting a monument over by the town hall, kind of in honor of the town hall being now listed as the state, on the state historic register. We have a plaque that can be used outdoors, it's just a little round plaque, but it hasn't got anything detailed on it pertaining to Dalton, it's just a New Hampshire Historic Register plaque. But we'd like to have some kind of a monument, and I've got a possible monument that somebody can get for us, and this is where we might be interested in placing it,
Oh.
is near the other
That's nice.
monument. I do have another party who said he's also got a monument that we could have. It may be narrower and taller, and I haven't seen it yet, so that isn't set in stone, so to speak. Sorry for the pun.
Yeah.
And I thought we could just have, this is just a sketch, something simple, Dalton Town Hall, built
That's nice.
1845, and then the historic register plaque underneath it. So the measurements on that stone is about 36 inches wide. And I think they said about 15 inches high, and it's got a slant front, slant face.
You
And
just put it in front of this one?
I don't know if I'd put it in front,
Or
maybe
side.
to the side, maybe to the right side. It's almost in the center, I think, the way it is now,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if we wanted to put it in the front. Unless somebody else thinks it's good.
Well, you'd have to see if it covers any of the wording on the other one.
Right.
If it doesn't, I don't know what mine is.
Mm-hmm.
It would depend on how tall the roof is.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah,
Yeah.
to make sure.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it too close to
No.
it, so,
Yeah.
you know.
And there's enough room to put it off to the side there? over there, I think?
I believe there is, yeah.
Then you're gonna need another one to cover the other side.
Yeah, we'll have to come up
You'll
with something
build
else,
slabs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
to be balanced.
And there won't be any funds that the town would have to put up with. The Historical Society can cover some of the cost, and we've got a couple of volunteers who are gonna contribute. And the party who's going to be doing the carving on the lettering, he's gonna do it free. The Historical Society might have to get somebody to haul it from Littleton to Dalton and, you know, use whatever they use, a lift or a hoist or something to set it down. And somebody would probably have to put a small slab of concrete under it, maybe 6 inches thick perhaps. I don't know all the details. But for a base, just a flat base.
I think it's nice.
I think it's a good idea. Any comments or suggestions or concerns?
No, and it doesn't, I don't have any problem with either in front of it or on the side of it, so I think we should give you that option, so you
Yeah,
don't have
that's
to
your
come
choice,
back
yeah.
and
Okay,
say, we decided to put it on the other side, or.
yeah.
Do you want any limitations on size?
It's gonna be smaller than the one that's there, so.
One that's
Yeah, this one will be smaller than the one that's there. And like I said, I haven't seen the other one that somebody is willing to offer, but I think it's narrower, it might be more like rectangular and taller. I don't know what would be needed for a base for that if we decided that that was the right one. I also don't know if it's polished, the second
Oh,
one. It may
yeah.
not be polished, I kinda like the polished look,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion to?
I'll make a motion, we just kind of basically leave it up to her. I mean, she knows what she wants, she knows how she wants to look, so either one would be fine.
Okay,
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
okay, thank you. Should I stay here for the other one that I had put in?
The other one you put in.
The
She
other,
also did the cemetery,
agenda.
the cemetery.
yeah, yeah, I'm the cemetery sexton, and, we have recently learned that our grave digger, our main grave digger, Bernie Bean, passed away last week. So, yeah, so, I don't think there's any contract with him or with any other grave digger. It's basically who the town prefers to use for those services. And I would guess that hopefully the town has a copy of their insurance policy on hand. I don't know if there was ever one for Bernie. He did have insurance apparently, but I don't know if we ever had a copy of it. But I've had 2 people contact me. One was his son, Aaron Bean, and I know he's worked with Bernie in the past in our cemeteries, and I'm sure that he would be good at, you know, the job. He said he wanted to continue his father's business. And the other party is Paul Cormier from Whitefield, and I know his brother. I don't know Paul personally, but he did send a letter and he was interested in it.
Does the other gentleman live in Dalton?
No, Aaron, I think, is in Whitefield.
Oh.
Yeah. And, yeah, this is from Paul. Basically, he's got a small construction business. He owned one for 30 years. He's semi-retired, has a small excavator that he'd like to use for the job of digging graves. Over the years, he has done a lot of work in the Park Street and Pine Street cemeteries in Whitefield. And he's in the process of getting the required insurance for doing the job of grave digging. And let me know if you need more information or if he can answer any questions.
How does that work?
It,
Who contacts these?
the funeral home. So when somebody
the funeral
passes
homes?
away,
Oh,
the
okay.
funeral home that's dealing with the case contacts, normally he would contact, the funeral home would contact me and say, we have a burial to be done, you know, on Friday. And he's also going to call Bernie Bean or whoever is going to be doing the digging. And then I have to go mark the grave. I contact the grave digger and say, it's all set, it's marked, here's where you find it. And so, and basically, the funeral home will pay the grave digger. The town doesn't have any costs involved there. So it's just a matter, I guess, of,
Can
you
we,
know,
can we have insurance for both of them and?
I was going to suggest maybe have somebody for a backup, you know, have
Yeah.
one maybe we prefer, or, you know, who knows, maybe the
Funeral home?
funeral home will
Pick one or the other.
pick one or the other, yeah.
Whoever's available or.
I think
Yeah.
as long as they both have insurance, that
Mhm.
we don't, it's fine with
I think the insurance
us.
is important though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No
I,
problem.
I could probably contact them and say, provide a copy of the insurance policy.
does Bean work with his father, it would be the same company, or he's on his own?
It's like, I think it was an individual, like, I don't
So
know
he'd
if
have
it's
to have his
a
own
sole
insurance.
proprietorship, I
Yeah.
don't know what it was, or just over the, what do you wanna call it, under the table, or, I'm not really sure how it works. But I don't think it was, you know, Bernie Bean and Son, but he did work with him sometimes.
I think as long as they're insured, we,
Yeah.
I have
It
no
seems like it's
choice.
good to have a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'll make sure, you know, that they come up with their insurance and,
I'm not sure, is there a limit that they have to
Give a
have to work
copy.
on our property?
That's what I don't know, because there should be, I mean, if they, you know, damage something or somebody got hurt,
Yeah,
they need to have
yeah.
liability insurance.
I would imagine, yeah, if they damaged a stone nearby,
Yeah, somebody
or,
else's.
I was gonna
or
say, or
dug
their
up the sod,
utilities.
yeah.
Right.
But I don't know what the appropriate limit is. It'd be nice to know
Yeah,
what we've
I-
had in
I
place
could,
now.
maybe I could ask, yeah, I'm not sure if we do have anything on file now or not. I've never inquired, and, because when I started with the sexton job, Bernie was already here.
Yeah.
He was the one that everybody used.
And you've probably been
So.
doing it for years.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think as long as they're insured, it doesn't matter to us which one they choose,
Yeah.
so can leave it up to the
Funeral home.
or the
Yeah.
people, you know.
okay.
Okay, so why don't you have
I'll-
them bring the policy?
yeah,
We
I'll see if
do
I
some
can get some-
research maybe?
Yeah, I'll see if I can get the policies, so.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
I guess this is supposed to be read. Have this read, it says. Well, I think you have one of those in.
So this is an email about, property on Harriman Road near 487. So I can read it verbatim if you want, that would be easiest.
Is that
So-
the vandalism? Is that the one that was vandalized?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
Jesse said they don't usually, the town doesn't usually pay for anything when these properties are neglected like this.
No, I know
and
they
gone,
don't,
so
yeah.
that,
yeah.
It's been reported, I'm not sure there's anything to do, I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it.
Right.
Do you know if we have taken it in taxes?
Not yet, she said it would
Oh,
go,
so, yeah.
the end of this year, first of next year.
Oh, then we don't really have any liability at all on that as a town.
If we haven't already taken possession of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't one of the ones that we're putting
Well,
up?
it's been leaned, but it hasn't been deeded.
Right.
Okay, okay. So this is vandalism at a vacant property? Okay. So then, if it's been reported to the police, then,
I don't think there's anything for the village to do, I just wanted you to know in case you wanted to do something about it.
talks about windows and a bear or something having damage
Yeah.
in there. I mean, do we need to have it boarded up just to?
Well, that would be starting a new
Precedent.
precedent or
Yeah,
something
Or
that the
something
town's never done.
on property that's not, doesn't belong to the
Exactly, yeah.
town?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm not sure whether you, that's kind of, Jessie and I talked about it, her feeling was don't do anything.
Okay, well, that actually belongs to the town,
Yeah.
or if they come with the taxes in it.
Yeah.
It'll be yours, okay. And speaking of property, I know we have a request for bids for property.
Yep, I have that, yeah, as far as I know, we didn't get any bids.
Did the ad go in?
It's put in the
No.
paper, no.
Oh, it has.
It's supposed to have been till 4 o'clock today, and I have not seen any bids. And Jesse just set this out, and there's no bids in it, so.
That was just on the land, right? Up here on 135, 5 acres or something?
No, there are 3 parcels and I can't remember which one this was. So
I thought that was
put it
the,
out first.
I thought that was the acres, the acreage up there.
This is the property minute.
There was one in the paper and it didn't have any buildings.
No,
Yeah.
so that's just
And
the
I think it
land up
said
there,
solar
yeah. Then there's
array.
one with the building, and then the other one's a little skinny piece near the,
Yeah, that's
brownish.
probably the isn't going to.
no, no.
Okay. And I think we put a minimum bid in,
5,000?
Hmm?
Yeah, 5,000.
5,000.
Was, I
Based on
don't
that,
know,
I don't really know that we want to.
maybe it was more than 5 acres then, I forget how much it was.
I'm getting the 3 properties confused in my mind.
I just
don't get
remembered this one
details.
because Mark was gonna go take a ride up there and see what it was like, but it was
Never got
never.
the address, but
Was it 5 acres?
I think so.
Oh, or was it 18
No,
acres?
think
I
it was-
don't know, we
I thought it was
discussed
something like
it.
that.
You know, which of these maps it is?
Yeah, I think it was
One
like
lot
5 acres.
30.
5?
Right around 5 acres.
Does it go back out in the paper for another try, or?
That's what I was gonna say, probably just put it out again, if you
Yeah.
got no bids on it.
Well, maybe we'll wait a while and then put it out and see if,
Yeah, I think that would be, Jessie would do that, doesn't she, as part of her tax collector? So I can talk with Jessie about how she wants to proceed.
Okay. I think we should see about this one. We thought this one would be the one to sell first.
Yeah.
So what was the tax, the
It
lot
was
number?
map 401, lot 31, 2.
This one right here, 5.24 acres.
I think she does, don't she?
Which was the law?
what's that cross street?
Was not 41 what?
That Union or?
41.
401,
3102?
3102. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Going up Fog Hill,
Oh, okay,
Up.
before you go into Littleton?
yeah, it's, past Buck Road.
That was
It's on 35,
Okay.
almost Buck Road. So it's,
Buckroads on the, we need to live in Buckroads on the left.
Yeah,
Okay. It's on 135.
it's right on this road, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of goes up a hill, doesn't it?
Goes up to Frog Hill, yeah.
Okay.
Then it goes down into Littleton. It
The
says,
road.
yeah, it says
Yeah,
welcome to,
but
yeah.
the lots on that side are the.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, on both sides, I believe.
You can take and scan it right now.
All right,
I don't know.
so
So I
we're
don't
gonna
think there's
postpone
anything-
decision on this and
So we find, I'll talk with Jessie and
see what the next steps are and,
basically you own it until it's sold, so it's just a matter how you get it sold.
yeah. Okay.
You might wanna ask her too, Tina, about the one with the house.
She has a note on one that was gonna be deeded either later this fall or early next year.
Oh.
Is that the one probably?
I don't know, one
That may
I
be the
think
one
we've
with
had for a
vandalism.
while and we tried to, sell it, but we tried to sell it with a realtor and that didn't work out. Remember she was saying that and,
Yeah.
and then the realtor got all involved and the guy next door wanted to buy it, so we didn't do anything with it. So,
That's the status.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll ask for that.
I know there are two properties and we decided
I'm
to
sorry?
do this.
I'll take a walk up there and look at it, and I know which lot it is.
Oh, okay.
I took a picture of it, so I know about how far.
Which one is he going to look at?
The 5 acres.
Okay. Looking for was the email from DES.
Do we all have that or just you?
Is that the one you just have a copy?
No, there was another one. From,
Oh, that one?
William, here it is. I've got it.
I got it.
Yep. Okay. So this is
Jerry.
from, Timothy, did I have the wrong name? Timothy Drew, Administrator, Public Information and Permitting Officer of the Commissioner of New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. And in the recent past, you have indicated desire for staff, and I'm not sure it was us as a board, but desire for staff from the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services to attend a local Dalton meeting to discuss the overall process of environmental permitting in New Hampshire. If you could provide me with some dates and times for this meeting, we would be more than happy to schedule the presentation accordingly. Please bear in mind that our presentation will be general in nature and will be based on past experience, the law, and their associated administrative rule for facilities located in and in operation across the state. It will not involve comments or any specific references to current or future projects. So is this something that would be useful? Is it something we want to address at a later date?
I know there were some residents who were interested in talking to them, but I don't know how much of an interest it was. Anybody here want to talk to DES?
I know Tim Drew was out from extended absence. I called the day on, so I got some correspondence before I saw that. But he did give me his second of command's name.
Okay.
Follow up with it, you want.
Okay. I think at some point it would be
Yeah.
good to hear from them.
Want to revisit it at a later date?
I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's so, we've got enough other things to do right
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking that's
Through zoning,
with the zoning and the zoning board and,
I think one,
but I think it'd be good
I
to.
would like to be there too for the zoning board to hear them, EPA, maybe they
Mhm.
have questions,
Yeah.
so we'll wait until it's established.
Mhm. Okay.
You have an idea when you might want it brought forward to you again? Other than the calendar?
Shall we say a month?
That would be September.
I'd say we'll go October, November.
I think October, yeah. Maybe we can put out some feelers to see how many people really want to come and
Come and.
listen to it, yeah,
Right, yeah.
yeah.
You know, with that in mind, I think it was a couple months ago when Casella was actually here speaking to the board, you asked for copies of their presentation to DES. That was May 30th. Did they ever get back to you? They said they would get something to you in 30
Yeah, she'll get
days.
copies of that, yeah.
They did,
Oh.
yeah.
Is that behind closed doors on, or?
No, it's
No,
right on the,
no, it's, we can, would you like a copy of it?
Well, no, I have a copy, I just
Okay.
don't remember them coming to the select board and
No,
presenting
they
that.
emailed it, they emailed a copy to us.
Okay. Just don't know if that was public information, so. That,
It was in
Yes.
public. We asked for it in public.
We asked for
Yeah.
it.
you asked for
So the
it, we just hadn't had
information is
confirmation that you'd gotten anything back from them, that's all. I'm asking for
Yes.
clarification.
public. Yes, we did.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, so we'll look at redressing, talking with DES in October. We're having them come to talk to us. Okay. Thank you.
Maybe Jesse can remember the residents that had asked for it originally, and we could, you know, reach out to them and let them know that we're planning something.
Okay.
Did you get this one from White Mountain Regional?
They haven't set a date for that.
I didn't see that.
This is that, this was originally dated July 30th.
And they're waiting for the ZBA.
They just want to come and meet and talk to you about the additions they plan to make.
The $12 million addition?
Okay. So this is,
Want to know when they come.
right. So administration, that's broad, is interested in coming to a select board meeting, to have an informal meeting with the board to discuss White Mountain Regional High School's 2020 building renovation project, which is slated to go to vote at the March meeting. Let me know when the next meeting is and if there are any time slots available. They don't say how much time they need, but this could be a lot of discussion.
Depends on whether they do the detailed or the summary, and yeah, there could be discussion depending on who's here.
Right. And the cost and, all I know is what I've seen in the paper, and it sounds like a big project.
Well, I only knew from the gentleman that was here from the school board, and he mentioned that there was gonna be a
A big
big
proposal.
increase, yeah.
Let's postpone a decision on when for a few minutes and talk about the zoning board. Do we need to, before we get to that, this Primex thing just informational?
I think so.
Okay. I guess an online portal, okay. So, with the passing of the emergency temporary zoning, the select board is charged with appointing a zoning board, at least 5 members. And quite a few citizens have come forward with letters of interest, which is wonderful. I do want to talk about a little bit of clarification. Appointments are usually on a rotational basis, so what has been recommended to us is that we would appoint 2 people to 3-year terms, 2 people to 2-year terms, and 1 person to a 1-year term, so that then the board wouldn't turn over at the same time. I'm going to just read what the New Hampshire Municipal Association attorney talked about in terms of a factor that should be considered. One factor the board should take into account is whether any person seeking appointment publicly opposed or supported the landfill being proposed by Casella. Any such person who can be identified in the public record as opposing the landfill would need to recuse himself/herself from the zoning relief matter sought by Casella due to prejudgment. As provided in RSA 673-14, a member of a ZBA would be required to recuse himself if he is prejudiced to any degree regarding the case. RSA 500-A 12(1)(f), since the expected Casella application will be the principal job of the Dalton ZBA, prudence dictates the member should not have expressed a prior public opinion on the merits of the landfill proposal. Yes, John?
So with that in mind, would Anna be recusing herself from the selection of people for the zoning board since she's taken a position publicly against zoning?
So my understanding is this is not for or against zoning, it's specifically against the landfill.
Well, we're using that in the same application relative to the selection of the zoning board, and that she's obviously proven a bias against zoning, so.
And I told you that once it was voted on, I would go with what the town wanted. And the town wants zoning, so we will work for zoning.
Well, then in all fairness, you would just recuse yourself and the two other select board members can make the decision relative to who would be on the board.
Why would I recuse myself?
You're going with what the town wants
The
and,
town wants zoning,
right?
so I will go with the zoning.
But again, you've proven that you have a bias against zoning, so I feel that you should recuse yourself from,
I don't really care.
just bringing it up, I mean.
So I guess I'm not seeing the rationale behind that, because the town voted to have emergency temporary zoning. So,
We don't necessarily know what her
But-
position is relative to, I mean, I could infer that from her position that she is in support of the landfill. So,
Well, you'd be wrong, wouldn't you? Because you don't know what my position is.
but I have not heard her publicly state.
but
for or
again,
against
we're
the
talking about
landfill.
zoning and the selection of the zoning officers who would be on the zoning board. So again, I'm just bringing that up because I feel she should recuse herself, but that's just my opinion.
Well, the recusal though, didn't that reflect the people that you were gonna put on the
Yes.
board, not
Yes.
necessarily any one of the three of you? I didn't read that or hear that, and I admit my hearing is not the
Yes.
best.
It is, it's zoning board members. And we could appoint somebody to the zoning board who has publicly expressed an opinion, but then they would have to recuse themselves if that issue comes up before the zoning board. And so we could be, instead of having 5 members on a zoning board, we could be down to however many.
Well,
So
with
that's-
that, with
that's
that
a
in mind,
concern.
you could make the case that the town voted, basically, they don't want a landfill. So why can't the town take an official position, they don't want a landfill?
I think that the town, at a town meeting, could take a vote. Right now, I don't know whether the town is for or opposed one.
Well, I
just
think
don't
that
know.
was pretty clear the other night, but
That vote was on zoning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Karen Crowe. Is there an opportunity to appoint alternates to the ZBA in the event, you know, people who have spoken publicly for or against the landfill, and the landfill issue comes before the ZBA? What if we end up with just 2 who've not made a public statement? That's not enough to hold a vote. You need a quorum, do you not? And certainly a tiebreaker. Would there be any alternates?
We could, and I think what I'd like to talk about today is the process for selecting a zoning board. I think we've gotten quite a few letters of interest, but I think it'd be nice to be able to put it out on our website and be clear about what we're looking for, and then discuss candidates next week. The other thing is, I talked to the planning board last week, and they have a lot of experience with land use issues, and they said they would be willing to act as consultants to the select board in our decision-making process. And we as a board have to agree or disagree on that and decide. But, am I misspeaking, Terry, or is that?
No, that sounds right.
And I personally think that would be good, because I think,
We have a lot of good candidates.
yes,
So are you saying, when you said next week, you mean the next
Yeah.
select
select
board?
board meeting.
And that's when they're due, 2 weeks from today.
So we need to, that's a good point, because we need a little bit of time to pull a packet together and review them.
So what date are you setting?
When's the next planning board meeting?
September,
In 2
Yeah.
weeks, they're,
yeah, we are having a meeting in 2 weeks.
Is that before or after ours?
that is before ours.
Oh, just in case we wanted to,
21st.
you know, approach them.
okay, this is the 21st, and our next meeting would be the 26th.
Oh.
But they actually, they did agree last Wednesday that they would help us, you know, if we wanted them to.
Yeah.
So then, how many days do we need to review the packets? Given that
Well,
our
we
next
seem to be
meeting is-
getting more in every day.
And if we put it out,
Yeah.
clear
Got
out
one more in today.
Yeah.
what we're looking for, then should we set a deadline for
We could do that, yeah.
Friday, the 23rd? Is that going to be enough time before Monday? Or what are your hours are varying right now for putting a packet together?
How about that
Would it be better-
Wednesday?
I would say, if you do it the 23rd, what I would say is that you would review them Monday at the meeting, or before or after, whatever I get copies to, and vote on them the following, if that's not putting it off too late.
Don't go about this September
That
9th.
way it gives you 2 weeks to look at the candidates, read them, and think about it.
And see if we need to interview them in person or do any other step, or whether it's clear.
And I don't know if you wanna share them with the planning board, whether they can assist, or, I mean, you'll have to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Tina is way underneath.
It's right underneath your chair.
I know that.
There you go.
Thank you.
So is that what you're saying, September 9th will be the time we voted on them?
Yes, is that putting it out too far, do you think?
No, not if we need to, because there's so many people interested in it, we'd have to make sure everybody has a chance to get it in.
And then if there's anybody else out there.
So the September 9th date is what?
That is when we will
Select.
discuss the candidates, do a preliminary discussion on the 26th, which is Monday. And then we'll make the final determination on the 9th. And we're looking at a deadline for submitting letters of interest
On the
Friday, the
23rd?
23rd.
Okay.
And we'll put this up on the webpage. This is what we're proposing, we have not voted on it yet.
I think it's important for you guys to let people that are interested to know what the obligations are for someone to be on the zoning board.
Well, that's what
Yes.
you were saying. you
No, I
wanted-
know, I'm just
Right.
saying
Write
it's,
some packet.
right now, we
Yeah,
have
so
no
we know.
idea.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we
You
don't.
know.
And the other thing is, the statutes are clear that it needs to be a Dalton resident. So I think the interpretation of that is probably that it needs to be a registered voter, or somebody who's eligible to become a registered voter.
I think that, you might want to get clarification on that. Resident and voter are two different things. People have property here and they pay taxes.
Now, I know
I
that the
think-
state statute, you have to be a registered voter to be declared a resident, right?
Yeah.
Is this what you need to be to get a driver's license?
I believe so.
I
I
don't
believe-
What
think you need
information,
to be a
can you
registered
hear that
voter.
again?
I'm sorry?
Can you say that again? I didn't hear it.
I believe by state statute, a resident is somebody that owns land and can register a car, register to vote.
I don't believe that's true.
You don't need to be a landowner.
Yeah, I
You don't
don't,
have to be a landowner
You
either.
have
I
to
think
have
a resident has to be
permanent resident.
somebody who's,
Lives
I
in
think,
town.
in town at least 6 months of the
Yeah,
year, I think.
yeah.
But a
We
land-
probably
I
could
think
use
you
some
still have to have
clarification on that.
Register your car and everything,
I
right?
don't believe you have to.
Really?
We'll look into that.
Well, we'll check,
It
because I
would be
think
the
it may
thing to look
be,
into.
The state's just been arguing this for
Yeah,
years, so.
yeah, they were
let me
about the college
See if I can
kids.
get a definition.
But will you clarify what you're gonna put in, so your website's gonna say exactly
yeah,
what it
Yes,
is?
yeah.
Right.
yes.
And then will you say anything about what is the job entails? And then, for example, you could take, the planning board has 2 alternates.
Yes,
And this system of attending for 3 meetings and then seeing if they become eligible to become part of one of the alternates. So you could set some system like that in place for the ZBA if you wished. I don't know.
We really are so new with this because we never had that.
I know.
It's gonna be, yeah.
Totally new.
And it seems like, you know, the 3 minutes for, 3-minute meetings for somebody to be considered an alternate would be a rule that the zoning board would establish.
So they can set their own rules after they,
They can in terms of procedures, yes.
okay.
Now, appointments, I mean, it is a select board, but
Another point of information, just confused. Now, the planning board only has 3 members and 2 alternates, but the zoning board has to have 5 members altogether?
Planning board
planning board has
has
5.
But only 3 at a time are voting?
They need to have at least 3 for
It's a quorum, not a,
Yes,
for all 5
Right.
members.
but they have 5 members and they have 2 alternates.
Most of the 7 people. Okay, thank you.
And the zoning board has to have 5 members.
And I think the 2 alternates might be a good thing. I agree with the other person.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good suggestion, and I think some of it will depend on we end up with enough applicants. All right, so, yes,
Can you tell me on what basis you'll make your decision for members?
that's what I was just going to ask my fellow select board, what the criteria would be. I propose that one of them is that they haven't publicly been for or opposed to landfill, so that we're not starting at somebody who might have to recuse himself if that issue comes before the board. So that would be my suggestion. I don't know.
I think that's a good suggestion. That's, yeah, I think they have to play residency in Dalton well.
I guess my question is, what qualifications for an individual are you looking for?
Another thing I think is important is that somebody can be open-minded and listen to people.
If you're asking like a certain education level or something, that's not necessary.
But I mean, it's gonna be hard for you guys to, just from an email, to pick a candidate. I think you
Yeah.
probably have to bring it down to a certain group, and then you have to individually interview them, I would say.
I think.
So, I'm sorry, what is your name?
Scott Estel.
Hi, Scott. And
Don.
good meeting.
Yeah, I think that's, might very well be what needs to happen. Terry, from the planning board perspective, what qualifications do you think are important?
Well, I do agree that, yeah, you need to have an open mind, you gotta listen to what's being proposed. Never been on a zoning board, so, but yeah, you have to have a reasonable character that, you know, you have to think things through.
Is it my understanding that the planning board really does the suggestions of the rules, and then the ZBA is only if there's a disagreement or something?
Appeal.
I don't, so
Yeah,
we never had
To
this,
the
so I
best
don't.
of my knowledge, I believe,
The
yeah.
planning board starts it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And if it doesn't fit, or if it's out of the realm.
and then they have to go to the zoning.
Except I think it's different with the emergency zoning.
Uh-oh.
Well, because all I know is, I mean, in the emergency temporary zoning, if there is not a zoning officer, then the select board makes a
Yes,
preliminary decision,
yeah.
where.
That's
I'm sorry, I'm
relative
not-
to an inspection.
Hmm?
That's in the role of the officer for the inspection. That's not the zoning board. You're misreading that. You're misunderstanding that. The zoning board of appeals, if the planning board is presented with a plan, doesn't match what they need, they go to the zoning board for a variance. It's going to an appeal. You guys are only acting as the officer that would go out in the field and inspect a property as the zoning officer. You're misunderstanding that. You've said that several times and you're not correct.
I will try to get clarification, because that's my understanding from
It's-
talking
The
with
select board does not
attorneys and reading the
take the
regs.
role of the zoning board.
No, it would be for zoning, which is a land use, versus the subdivision, which is the
No,
planning board.
no. You need to get clarification on that, because you're wrong.
It's
You're the
quite
zone, you would
possible. I mean,
act as the
it's
zoning
same as
officer unless you have a zoning officer that is paid for by the town, which obviously there's no funds for that. So that's where the select board would come in and act as the zoning officer.
Correct, so that if
You would
there
look
is
at,
a
you would,
zoning application and it's straightforward, the select board would act on it. If there's an exception or a variance, then it would go to the zoning board
Of adjustment.
of adjustment.
well,
I
Get your
mean-
clarification.
We'll get clarification though,
But I
'cause
think-
I could,
I think you
This
guys
is
are on the
new.
same page.
Hmm?
I think you guys are on actually the same page. What she's saying there is what the zoning officer would do. They would look at it and see if it violated the zoning rules,
Mhm.
even if you had to go and inspect the situation.
inspecting though.
Right, but you would decide whether it had to go to the ZBA or not,
Right, so, yeah.
They don't decide if it goes to ZBA, the planning board does.
or the planning board.
That's right.
But until March, we're still going with the emergency rules.
which may be.
Then they have to decide new rules, and then the town decides whether to keep it or stay on the emergency rule.
We have to vote in the new.
We've actually got 2 marches.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Let's
To
get
do
through
it.
one at a time.
Okay, so we have some work to just clarify the roles of the planning board and the select board.
Where do you get your clarification from? It's like,
We'll start with the attorneys at the New Hampshire Municipal Association.
And then you're gonna post some of this. And then I'm hearing questions like how often are we expecting this board to meet? How much time is it going to take? The planning board meets once a month. I'm not even hearing that the ZBA may have to meet that often. Because if
think
the
you-
planning board does its job and makes decisions, it never goes over to the ZBA.
And I don't think we know how often it will meet. It has to meet as needed, so.
Yeah, it must be like you call in, you know, we need an emergency meeting or something.
Right.
It's
Or they have
as
a
needed,
standard
yeah.
meeting and then
Yeah.
if they need one.
So Terry, for instance, how many problems have you had in the past? Have there, dealing with properties and different things? A lot or?
Not a lot. I've been on the board for about 5 years. I think the one that comes to mind is a party that was getting a new mobile home. They had an existing mobile home and they wanted to get a larger one so that it could be handicapped accessible. And it was a narrow lot, and so it could affect the setbacks. It was going to affect the setbacks, so it would have been closer to the property lines because it was going to be a bigger mobile home. But, you know, whether or not we have legal authority as a planning board or not, you know, we did have a discussion and we all felt that due to the nature, you know, they're trying to have a handicapped accessible and their lot is already narrow, it's been there for many, many years, and we said we would accept it, you know, it would be okay. It was kind of like having a zoning board variance, so to speak. But we don't see a lot of big issues. There was another case where the planning board regulations require a 2-acre minimum lot size. Now that will be changed with the emergency zoning, because that is 1 acre. But at the time, a party came along with a proposed subdivision, and they wanted 3 lots, and all the lots were going to be under 2 acres. And we said, well, according to our regulations, you can get 2 lots out of your piece of property, but you can't get 3. And also, as far as the frontage, 200-foot minimum frontage for the planning board regulations, they weren't going to meet it if they had 3 lots. So they weren't too happy about it. They never did come back with a revised plan. So who knows if they get word of it with the,
With the 1 acre.
the new 1 acre for the minimum lot size, they might approach again.
And I think, you said Sugar Hill gets about 1 per month. Is that what you said? Was it you who said that, or? Yes.
What measures has the select board made since the town meeting, the emergency town meeting, to find out about this, about the zoning board? Other than the facts, you know, you're gonna consult the planning board, but what have you done in between?
We've
So
contacted
we,
the attorney.
attorneys, and the thing is, we have to discuss it in a public session, so we can't discuss it outside of the meeting.
Okay,
So that's why we're waiting until the meeting.
all right. So how long do you think it's gonna take you before you can get into that?
We are thinking to put people in on September 9th is what we decided, to
Yep.
give us 2
Okay.
weeks to go through, meet again. We'll all get the applications, look them over,
Okay,
so, and have a discussion on the
Six.
26.
Right.
okay, thank you.
Yes.
I'd just like to make a comment about the qualifications of the individuals you choose from among the applicants for the ZBA. You mentioned, and I don't disagree, you mentioned that you would feel it's very important to not choose anyone for the ZBA who has expressed a public opinion for or against the landfill. My concern about that is, I think if Casella is accurate and the DES is accurate, that it may be years before they have a plan that's been approved by the state departments to come to our ZBA. You know, I think we may be shooting ourselves in the feet and not, you know, not accepting some very highly qualified and dedicated to the Dalton community members, potential members, because I think most of the work the ZBA would be doing would be for local concerns, construction, remodeling, lot lines and such, and small businesses or whatever. And it would seem to me a shame to eliminate right at the very start the people who are pro or con a landfill. That's my opinion.
But we didn't say that. The law says that. We didn't say that.
Well, through Joe.
attorney
Joe
said
stated that tonight, so.
Yeah, there's an RSA.
Right, well, wherever that came from.
The state.
It says you can't, well, that's only one, but that's only one issue that may come before that board. You know, and they can recuse themselves. That's my point. And is it an RSA or
Yeah.
is it the
No, it's an
lawyer's
RSA.
opinion?
It's an
What,
RSA.
could you read that for me, please?
Yeah.
As provided in RSA 673-14, a member of a ZBA would be required to recuse himself if he is prejudiced to any degree regarding the case. RSA 500-A12-1F. Since the expected Casella application will be the principal job of the Dalton ZBA, prudence dictates the member should not have expressed a prior public opinion on the merits of the landfill proposal.
Okay, the RSA states they can recuse, you can place them, they can, or would be expected to recuse themselves. It's the lawyer's interpretation that it would be wise not to have them. So it's really up to you. You know, the law does not say you cannot.
Right, but I think it is something we should take into account, so that we
Absolutely,
don't have
but
a,
here's the
five-member
other,
board that we're recusing 5 members, so,
here's the other point though.
yes.
Also with the RSA, however, any issue that comes to the zoning board, a member who is on that zoning board, if they have a problem with it, such as a lot line that affects them, will also have to recuse themselves.
Correct.
So even though they are targeting that it is, yes, people against the landfill, you know, it is inclusive of all of the zoning board things that somebody may have an exception with. So I don't know, yes, the landfill has been a point of focus, and yes, it can be used as an example. However, I don't think it should be overlooked that anybody on the zoning board could possibly have to recuse themselves from just about anything that the zoning board does, if it personally affects them.
That's correct.
Okay.
I also think if we go back to the special meeting, it wasn't supposed to be about the landfill, it was about zoning.
Right.
Right.
So I think we need to stay with that theme. It's not supposed to be about the landfill at Casella, it was supposed to be about zoning only.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that rule was, which a lot of people broke in that meeting, but I think that's something we have to continuously go with. It's not about Casella, it's about zoning for the town.
Exactly.
That's my point.
I
Well-
100% agree with that.
Perfect example is Kevin Roy works for Casella and he's on the Bethlehem Planning Board. So when a Casella issue comes up, he recuses himself. And I've put in my name for the zoning board, and I really do take offense that you're trying to exclude me based on that. I've been to every planning board and every select board meeting, more so than probably anybody in this room, other than someone who's a member. And you singling me out,
I don't think I
You
singled anybody out.
well, you're reading into that, what that letter said and the RSA said, and I think it's inaccurate.
It seems to me that that's why it would be helpful if you had a list of human characteristics that have nothing to do with the pro and the con on the last vote, to help you with your choice. Character kinds of things, the sorts of things that Terry was mentioning. I don't know, I mean, it strikes me this is a person that has to be able to listen
Yeah.
and to evaluate information.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, just think about what you would want if you had something coming before this
Right,
board.
Right.
And what kind of a person would you want to have listen to it? And
Yeah, and
then
that pretty
those,
much says that on,
you
if you
know,
go on the municipality and
And
read the zoning thing, you should
those
have
are
to
the
be open-minded.
characteristics you'll need to look for, Carol, when you're
Mm.
choosing the 5 and maybe the 2 alternates. And then, of course, it's gonna turn over, you know,
Yeah.
after 1 year, what'd you say,
Yes.
1 will go off and then however that rotation system was.
And the other thing is, I would believe that if there were any legal questions, that zoning board would have the right to talk to town legal counsel.
Yes, anybody who's.
So that would be, you know,
Now, do we pick the alternates, or we pick the zoning board and they pick the alternates?
That is a good I mean,
Yeah.
we picked the zoning board.
Right.
I mean, they could, like with the planning board, they propose the alternate,
Yeah,
and then we actually appoint them. So we could have the same thing with the zoning board in terms of the alternates, I believe. I'd have to verify that.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
So we could focus on, you know, the
The
5
five,
primary,
yes.
and then the zoning board could, because the zoning board has to elect their chair and
Yes.
develop their procedures.
So are you saying that you would select 7 people and then they would decide who the 2 alternates are?
No, we would
No.
select 5, and then if they wanted to select alternates, they would select them and then bring them to the select
Bring them
board.
to you guys.
yeah,
Right,
maybe
good
after a
point.
few meetings or something, and they could see who they could work with or something, then they could they could ask, you know.
Because if you're on the planning board, you have to come before you for it to be interviewed.
Yes,
And so, I mean, I'm assuming that would be the same. I mean, I got interviewed 2 or 3 times in the course of my years on the planning board.
Mhm.
And that was a part of the process. It wasn't
Okay.
automatic.
Yeah. And I think that's why we want to look at reviewing the applications at the next meeting, and then if we want to interview people, we can do
we could
it
ask them to come, yeah.
to come at the following meeting, at the 9th, rather than rushing through the process.
I think you're gonna have a hard time finding 5 qualified applicants that have not publicly expressed their interest in either way for this
We
landfill.
have quite a few,
we do.
sort of like, not a yes or a no, I mean, I'm not saying they want or didn't want, but they didn't publicly blow up at anybody or anything, so.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have
but
quite, we got
still
quite a few
though,
people.
yeah, I think you're still gonna, you know, Casella's probably gonna have, you know, a lot of recon on this stuff. You know, a sign on your lawn or whatever.
Well, they did videotape the public hearing
Okay.
without anyone knowing at the
Oh,
public hearing, make a
okay.
recording, so they have that. They're not stupid.
Yeah, so I think that could backfire on the zoning board or.
Well, I think that we should look into, are you doing that class on Wednesday?
Yes.
I am. I think that will help us come up with some really good, are you doing it?
No, I haven't done some right now.
Some questions that, and what about other towns?
Well, yeah, what do
are
other towns do?
And how do they select there? That's a good point.
I mean,
I
you
could
could
call
ask
a
if
couple
they-
of the
Yeah.
close towns.
Mhm.
I talk to them all day, so.
Okay. So in terms of some of the criteria that we're looking at, we're looking at somebody who can listen, who can evaluate information, be open-minded. What are some of the other characteristics that we're looking for?
I think they have to be able to research legal stuff. I mean, there are gonna be questions whether you can say no or not say no.
Understand
Some of
maps
the-
and terminology and
Yeah.
zoning terminology.
Now, they also have to have a minute taker too, don't they? Like someone take minutes at their meetings?
Probably,
Yes.
that would be-
They would have a secretary. Called a secretary.
There aren't very many people in town that have much of a background in zoning. We've never had it before. There were about, Anna, 5 of us, 10 of, I can't remember how many, about 10 years ago, who studied zoning for about a year.
And they tried to pass it
And
through,
we
yeah.
got, it eventually bogged down, but those of us that did that know a lot about the zoning. in
Yeah.
Towns all
But it
over
didn't
the
go,
state.
they didn't have it timed right or
And
something.
we didn't
it
never
didn't
make,
get-
we never developed
made the
anything for
meeting,
Dalton.
no, no.
We got to the point where we realized we didn't think anything would pass in Dalton, and it just died.
Yeah.
But there are some people who have spent some time on it, should they
Mhm.
choose to wanna come forward now.
Yeah.
Are they too frustrated to come forward, do you think? I would hope not.
Some probably are.
Could relieve some.
Carrie, other criteria that you would suggest in your planning board experience?
Well, it might be helpful to understand maps. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reason that,
Interested maps?
that's the reason that one of the former selectmen asked me about it, to join the planning board, because she knew that I worked with maps, in my job.
Mhm.
Speaking of maps, did we ever find anybody to redo our maps?
I don't know, you'll have to ask Jesse probably.
Yeah, that was something else we were supposed to do.
I think it's, yeah, it's on my,
Oh, it's on your to-do list.
it's on my to-do list, but I thought it would, we have so many things right now.
I
that-
know.
So one criteria you may look at professional background.
Mhm. That's a good criteria.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's an engineer or,
Yeah,
you know.
I think we did have some that were engineers.
Former real estate brokers, things like that.
Yeah.
No real estate law.
Yeah.
Might be helpful.
Okay. So, do we need a motion to proceed this way in terms of the selection?
Consensus, consensus
Just
should be.
consensus, okay. The other thing in terms of the emergency special zoning is that the planning board has already discussed starting the process of coming up with Dalton-specific zoning. And so I know they're meeting again in 2 weeks instead of going a month. Do you want to provide a summary, Terry? I'm kind of catching on the stop.
Well, all we can say is that we had actually started late last fall, working again towards a zoning ordinance, to bring it forth to the last March town meeting. But we ended up running out of time because the state requires certain amounts of posting notices, having hearings and so forth before it gets onto a town warrant. So we missed the deadline, barely, but we missed it. And then everything happened with the Casella issue. But I think that knowing now that this vote was close to accept the zoning, that we can go ahead and rethink of, you know, what we've already come up with, and if the town has already accepted this zoning in general, I know not everybody did, but, overall it was accepted, so I think that we wanna start with that and maybe not build much at all into it. But maybe tailor it a little bit, according to what we may have already been living with planning board regulations. But we have yet to discuss it, so.
And there was talk about, trying to have an inclusive process to reach out to the town. I believe one of the-
Businesses and, you know, one thing we maybe didn't discuss was that some businesses are not residents of town, but we may wanna get a little bit of input, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, we were thinking of, coming up with a questionnaire of some sort to ask, perhaps businesses, different things, maybe it would be a multiple choice type of questionnaire, or, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel about this? So we can get some input, to help guide us along and do a more Dalton appropriate zoning.
As I recall from the meeting, and so correct me if I am interpreting it wrong, one of the concerns was, to make sure that we have a lot of small businesses in Dalton, you know, people who have a business in their garage or on their property, and how do we define that, so that's not just quote-unquote grandfathered in, but that's allowed? So if somebody else wanted to start a, you know, similar small business, you know, what are the parameters around that?
Oh, you mean a new one coming in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
or if somebody, you know, sells their property in their business. And
right, right.
to make sure, you know, to have a better understanding of what the community wants in terms of, you know, what is a small business versus, you know, when it grows. And I think the example was, you know, Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream started as a really small business, and then now it's, you know, a big corporation. But, you know, what are kind of transition points that can be identified?
Is the target date to have something for next March's meeting, or a year from next March?
I think we were thinking of this coming March.
We're gonna shoot for March,
Yeah,
okay.
that's why we decided maybe we'll have meetings every couple weeks
Yeah.
and see how things go and how it progresses, and so.
I didn't know whether it might even turn out, Terry, to be a two-step process. I don't quite know what I'm saying there, but it's gonna get more complicated as you get down into it.
Probably. I do think that we will rely quite a bit on the master plan,
Yeah,
because the master plan right now is current to 2011. That was way before any thoughts of big industry coming into town. But yet, when you read the master plan, it's really trying to show that people wanna have kind of what we have now, the small businesses, you know, rural character, cultural, environmental, things that we have, without big change.
And the master plan was accepted by the town,
Yes,
which is a good
Yes.
thing too.
yeah, and it's been similar, I think, throughout the years, as the master plan gets updated every so many years. I think maybe things get reworded a little bit, but I do think that the surveys that do come back from the planning board or the master plan committee, when they send it out to the residents, there's not a big amount of people that respond, but those that do, I think it's been pretty consistent.
Terry, if I may, it's wonderful that the planning board is really getting on top of the zoning issues, and coordinating with the master plan. Will there be input from the ZBA when they get their feet under them? Or is the planning board responsible for setting all those things and then the ZBA acts upon them? Where does the ZBA fit in?
The planning board will come up with a zoning ordinance, and then it goes to the public, the town, to vote.
Okay.
And if the town approves it, or whether it gets amended or anything, changed, if it is approved, then the ZBA would, they would be taking care of the appeals. If somebody comes in and says, this isn't gonna conform to what the new zoning is, so it's like, all right, apparently they have to go to the zoning board of appeals.
Okay, so the ZBA, am I understanding this correctly, has nothing to do with creating the zoning rules?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Just one quick, so am I to understand that we will be sticking with the master plan, which actually encourages home businesses and
Yeah,
being
that-
self-productive,
it
as long
seems
as
to,
it
yes.
doesn't interfere with the neighbors?
Mhm, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good. I like the master plan, so,
Yeah, we have a really good
it's a
planning
really
board.
good master plan.
We have a really good planning board too. They know their stuff.
I can't believe we didn't even review that since 2011. It just feels like I did it more so.
Any other business?
We need to go to non-public session.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh.
So do you think it would be okay if people sent in some kind of question or what they would see on a zoning board member? Without getting carried away, like a few suggestions from, do you think that would be okay, not okay?
So I'm just trying to think of time and process and things, I'm gonna try to get something up on the website and summarize it.
Like pornography, when you see it.
I make a motion that we go into non-public session to discuss some legal and personnel issues.
I second it.
All in favor?
Alright.
Do you want us to? I don't know that we have any other business, but we can go into another.
Are you coming back into public session?
We
Do
have
you
to
have
go
any
in-
other business?
We have to
We have to, we're out.
formally come back into a public session, but
Do you have any other
we
business?
don't have any other business.